As always, the Gold Prospecting Show is brought to you each week by JC, a father of 6, a husband of 1 who enjoys helping others as much as possible. Stay tuned for this episode of the Gold Prospecting Show.
Hey Billy, put down the pickaxe! It's time for Gold Prospecting Show!
Hey, fellow prospectors, that's right. It's JC coming back at you for episode number 18 of the Gold Prospecting Show. We were out about a week ago and found our first real good color of the year in a spot that wasn't marked on any USGS map. I know I use those USGS maps quite a bit to find where gold's been, but this spot wasn't even there, so I'll share with you how I found it. I'm not going to tell you exactly where it's at, but I'll give you the general neighborhood. And we'll also cover off some quick gold prospecting news in this episode of the Gold Prospecting Show with me, your host, JC. So let's dive right in. So my boy and I, Gabe, we got out about a week ago. It was right on Labor Day. And as you can see, if you're watching the video version of this, we were playing around a historic area. Now, this was an area where they did a lot of timbering for rail ties and other things. You can see Gabe standing here on the dam that they would then run the flue around the side hill to get the ties down to the main river. But we were actually out and about. Gorgeous day. It was a little rainy, overcast, but a great day for prospecting. And you can see we ended up, after just an hour or two of prospecting, we found quite a bit of color. This was the final cleanup. You can see there's good size flakes and specks. And look, it's even chunky enough that you can see it on the picture. So we were pretty close to a spot. Once again, it was a historic spot, and I was taking out a father and son, and they were just looking for a place to go prospecting. They'd watched the gold prospecting shows on TV and just wanted to get out and about. So we had a great time with them. Glad we could put them onto some yellow. You can see the boys working the rocker box here. And what we did is we found a boulder, and we just worked right behind it. And in fact, you can see old tailings up the side hill. This was the overburden that the ancient miners, not ancient miners, but historic miners, you know, ancient and history are two different things. But the historic miners had to pull several feet of overburden off of this area. And once they did that, they created a little bit of side hill. And we walked that coming down, and we're talking about how the old prospectors were mining. We found their overs piles. We found some old pipe and other things that could have very well been their sluice boxes over on the side. But we were just doing some mining. The boys are washing. This was one of the first pans where we started picking up some color. You can see there's 4 colors right here in this pan. And if you want to watch the video, you can see it over at egoldprospecting.com/18, so 18, and that'll take you right to where you can watch this video. And you can see in this picture, we've got one of our perfect prospecting practice pellets. The guys were really curious about how to know whether or not they were getting gold when they were doing their panning. And one thing that we shared with them was our perfect prospecting pellets, which are available under our products tab. And those are very close to the same weight as gold. They're actually a alloy that gets you to about 16 or 17 on specific gravity, and gold is 18 to 19. So it's one of the easiest ways that you can speed up your processing and speed up your panning so that you know that you're not losing any gold. Now, we've got 2 different size pellets in that pack, and the smaller ones actually help you when you have gold the size of ours. Once again, here's an overview shot, and then we're back to the beginning. So the news I wanted to cover off with you, about how I found that spot, because it's not listed in any USGS map or anything. But I found a historic report. And if you guys are scouring the reports in that are available in the Launchpad, and what you're able to do is you can go back into the archives, and there's actually a lot of history of departments and other things. And I believe the report I was reading is a matchup of the USGS, the Bureau of Mines, and the local geology society. And what they did is they did thousands of research spots. They sampled thousands of spots and started putting together reports on the availability of gold, but then they get distracted, and those archived reports just sit there on a shelf, not really doing anything. So if you join egoldprospecting.com at the sign up button, you can get access to the Launchpad, where we actually walk you through, give you all of the links that we use to do our research. So I did some historic research in the newspapers, looked through some of the old books on the area, and then scanned down and looked at the historic topo maps as well. And I tell you, guys, there's no better way to spend your time when you're stuck in the house, whether it's raining or wintertime, than researching for new prospecting spots. And this was a spot I wanted to get to for a while. And when we got a call looking for some fellow prospectors, looking for some guide help, we took them up there. We found the gold, and I tell you, it's fantastic. We don't think we're going to claim it. Now, we could. There's been some claims in the area, but the most recent ones was back in the mid-'80s. So we've just got too much going on. I tell you, as much as it's a fun hobby, it could seriously get in your way. But some of the local, or not local news, but international news that's available for prospectors, whether you're treasure hunting or prospecting. But Indiana's actually been hot on the news list, and I've been meaning to do a package on Indiana. So I'll spend some time here in the next week or two getting that done. I tell you, my wife had knee surgery here just a few weeks ago, and with 6 kids and a wife that stays home, takes care of everything, my world has been turned upside down trying to help out as much as possible over there. So, but the Indiana guys are hitting it real hard, and they're finding a lot of good color. Now, this is color that was brought down with the glaciers out of Canada thousands of years ago, but gold has been found in creeks throughout the state. But prospectors are flocking to 14 Mile Creek in Charleston State Park, Silver Creek in Clark County, and Wabash River near Logansport. So you Indiana prospectors, get out there and find something. You can see some guys are running some high bankers and panning out their concentrates right here on the side. But no matter where you are in the country, it's a fun hobby. Whether you're finding anything or not, whether you're metal detecting or gold prospecting with the family, I tell you, you're metal detecting, the kids hear something and they start digging, and you almost have to control them just to keep them from digging too much. Here's some great finds. A family off the coast of Florida, this was off of Fort Pierce, Florida, found $300,000 worth of gold chain and coins just the past weekend. So this was sometime last week, 150 yards offshore. It was 15 feet under the seabed. And what this is it's an area that was the site of a serious shipwreck. In fact, an entire fleet went down in a hurricane back in 1715. Now, this was a convoy of 11 ships going from Havana to Spain, and they had an estimated $400 million of gold on it, and only $175 million of it has been found. So this was a family that actually does treasure hunting on their weekends, and you take a look at it, and man, that is why we love gold, isn't it? You wash it off, and it is just as good as the day that it was lost and buried. And speaking of buried treasure, here's another one where archaeologists discovered ancient treasure in Jerusalem. Now, these were 36 gold coins and then some gold and silver jewelry and a gold medallion found at the foot of Temple Mount, which is one of the most important religious sites in Jerusalem. Now, it comes and dates from the Byzantine period, which was 17th century. Now, they use CE. Some of us still try to use AD, Common Era versus Anno Domini, which means Year of Our Lord. But you can see this medallion. I mean, it's just gorgeous, and that's why we're looking for gold all the time. And speaking of looking for gold, guys in Tennessee have been prospecting so much that they've now brought in government regulations. That's right. Now, people are coming in and looking for gold in the Tennessee creeks, and now they're bringing up environmental regulations. So the Tennessee Department of Conservation is drafting a general permit to be required to regulate where and how people can mine for gold. So you guys, when you're out there prospecting, make sure you're practicing safe mining. Whether you're doing a dig with your metal detector or digging with some gold prospecting equipment, make sure that you're practicing safe best practices. And those include filling in your holes, not being able to show anybody where you've been after you walk away, picking up trash while you're out there so that you actually leave it better than you found it. So if you guys want to learn how I was able to track down and find a spot to metal detect and gold prospect without anybody else being around because it was such a historic spot, sign up over at the egoldprospecting.com. And then what I'm able to do is give you those tips and tricks that I use to get out there and prospect. Now, with prospecting season coming to an end for the bulk of the country, now a lot of guys will be shifting down to Arizona. I got down there last winter, and there is an active gold mining community in Arizona. So why don't you guys join me over at egoldprospecting.com, and may you always find what you're looking for. This is JC, and I look forward to helping you find everything that you're looking for. Take care. Have fun.
Thanks to Jason Shaw of Audionautics.com for the music used under Creative Commons license.